pay close attention. This lesson will be important for you to be able to get a grasp on Unreal Engine, which is pretty hard to understand at first, really. So this is the Epic Games Launcher. Again, let's just access the library tab, my projects, open up the My Project 01 that we've just created in the previous lesson. Open that up. The Epic Games Launcher will automatically close, like such. It didn't close. Okay, right. For some reason, it didn't close. So now, this is Unreal Engine, right? You'll find that this huge window into the world that's just behind me, that's the main window that you'll be using most of the time because like it's the visual aspect of creating a game or a real-time application. So how to actually navigate that specific window? Just ignore the other ones for now, okay? Let's focus on this one. Right click, and you need to actually like keep the click pressed, and you'll be able to look around like so. And it's, pretty easy. You can also click the left mouse button at the same time and move. So right now, I am moving up and down across the scene. I can let go of that one and click again to alternate between rotating the camera and just moving around horizontally and vertically in this axis. But if I wanted to zoom in and out, I could just zoom in and out using the mouse scroll wheel like such. You can see that's pretty easy, right? It's just like any other computer application that you might have already used. It's not a mystery. And if you want to travel like back and forth, you can just press the left mouse button, not the right mouse button, and then you will move around like so. You can then alternate the buttons to just navigate across the scene without any keyboard, which is pretty great. But let's say that you also have a keyboard. You would be right-clicking the mouse button and keeping that button pressed, and then moving by using the WASD keys. The E key will go up, the Q key will go down, and since those keys are pretty close to each other, it will be super easy to remember. Also, let's say that I want to focus on this icon here, which is like the player start actor. I would just press the F key, and that's it. I can zoom out and press the F key, and it will take me to wherever that one is, which is pretty nice. Also, you can press the Alt key on your keyboard, and while having that one pressed, you can use the left mouse button to orbit around the actor that you are currently selected. And what you can also do is Alt key and the right mouse button to zoom in and out. And also clicking the middle mouse button will pan the camera like such. And those are the primary camera controls to navigate across the viewport. If you want to make this screen super big so you can focus on it, just press F11 on the keyboard and it will be on full screen right now. But if you want the screen to actually cover up your whole screen, and you can see like the Windows taskbar there at the bottom, just press Shift and F11, and now Unreal will be completely full screen. That's nice. I mean, that's a cool addition that Unity doesn't seem to have natively to it. And Unreal is super great because it allows you to easily record some of your effects like that. And, it feels like super intuitive to use. To go back, press Shift F11 again, and also F11 to just minimize that screen to the original size. Awesome. So, more stuff going on. At the bottom side of the screen, you'll find the content browser. That's where you will be navigating through the project as if it was like a Windows File Explorer type of window. And then you'll find the content of your project there. So let's, for example, that here we have a material and we have an effect, like this one, for example, and maybe we have a folder. So inside this folder, you'll find the materials, move them there, and yeah, new folder, and those are inside that folder. That's just basic navigation through the project. And that's just how it is. You can close the content browser. And if you want to quickly open that up, you can press Control and Space. And this is like a quick and easy to use way for you not to have that content browser docked there at the bottom, which might be annoying because you are not pulling assets from there all the time. And you might want to just check your effects fully there at the viewport. That's a quick tip. You can dock it by pressing here. And now the content browser is there again. All right, so at the right side of the screen, you'll find the outliner, which is mostly like a list of items or objects that you'll find on your scene. You can also encounter some folders and some levels. It's like letting you know what's currently existing in this game. All right. In a more visual aspect of it, you will see that you've got lighting going on, you've got fog going on, sky atmosphere, skylight. Those might not be obvious at first, but let's just try disabling those by clicking this eye icon here, and you'll see what's happening. The scene is being transformed. No light, there's only like volumetric clouds going on right now. If I disable that, we are completely on the dark. To actually see something on the dark, this is a great tip that you can learn pretty soon on your career that will help you a lot. Press Alt 1, Alt 2, Alt 3, Alt 4, Alt 5, Alt 6 to alternate between different view modes. You'll see at the top side of the viewport there's, for example, the shader complexity mode, but we have lit, unlit, wireframe, lit, wireframe. So let's press Alt 3 to display the unlit version of all the objects that live on the scene. This render pass, what's doing is essentially showing everything there is, but without the lighting pass. So you'll be able to see stuff even if there are no lights on the scene. That's super useful. You can find more of those view modes there, right? So lumen, groom, nanite visualization, all that stuff that might be useful in the future. But for now, just know that there's the option for you to be able to check the wireframe of the meshes, for example, just right there. Or you could also press like Alt 3, Alt 4, and that's it. Let's reactivate the skylight, the clouds, the atmosphere, directional light, and that's it. Following up with the viewport, lit modes, you can also find the perspective modes here, such as the top perspective, bottom perspective, left perspective, right perspective, front perspective, and back perspective. That's nice in case you might want to edit some of your effects in the scene and you want to line those up pretty specifically, but you will rarely use that on a VFX workflow. You can also set this to be the cinematic viewport, which is, more like cinematic letterboxed type of, viewport. You are not seeing any of the icons right now in this viewport. So yeah, just know that there's the option to do that, but the default should be good for now. At the right side of the screen, under the outliner, you'll find the details panel. This panel will allow you to get the details of the object that you have currently selected on the outliner. And it's pretty great because you can transform that. So, for example, you can see the location of this object is currently minus 292. So let's set this to be, for example, 0. And now it's living at the very center of the world. And then by setting this location to be 0 instead of 92, you'll see that it's clipping through the floor. That's just because in terms of height, we just brought that down and it's now going through the floor from the center pivot of the object. Then let's just set this to be 92 again, minus 200, and it's back to where it started. To actually move an object, you can select the object and then you can press the different keys on the keyboard to do that. So for example, the E key, the R key, and the W key will allow you to actually move. For the W key, will let you move the object. The E key will let you rotate, and the R key will let you scale this object. All right. To actually use the scaling and rotating and moving capabilities, you will need to use this gizmo here, this representation of the movement properties that you want to transfer to the object by those green, red, and blue arrows that represent the different axes in which you can do that. So That's Control Z. And then, just practice using the W, E, and R key to transform your objects, location, rotation, and scale, right? So for example, the scale will be the R key. You can scale it like such. And if I'm just scaling in one axis, you can see that this arrow right now is super scaled just horizontally. And that's pretty funny. Also right now, just vertically. And yeah, you can see the capsule has gone up. And yeah, just practice also rotating. You can grab, the axis that you like. And then from there, just you can fine tweak by using this rotation parameter here or inputting like a number that you want. And that should be good to go. All right. Also on the terms of moving and rotating and, having more control over what you're doing, let's say that you'd want to move this object quickly in the viewport by 100 units, which would essentially be 1 meter in terms of Unreal Engine. But yeah, you can just click and drag right now, and you will be moving the object by 100 units each time. If you set this to be 1,000, you will be moving that to be, 1,000 units each time. It's pretty great, but when you do that, you'll see that there's like a couple lines going on there. That's the grid. You can click on show and then click on grid, and the grid will disappear. That's now great because that won't annoy you at all. And you can set this to be 10 again. And same for rotations. You can rotate, for example, to a 90 degrees basis, or maybe if you want to, you can also scale to a 10 degree basis. So yeah, you will get huge pretty quickly. Right, that's the basics of those parameters there. You can also adjust the camera speed by clicking this camera icon. So for example, if I set this to be 32, and now I move the camera, I'm just going out to space, and you might not want that. Let's just click the player start on the outliner and press the F key again to focus on that one. Let's set this to be 1 again, like so. And the scaler is just like to increase that movement range, but just leave that at 1. Should be good to go. This button here, which is like a cube with 3 lines going out of it, is controlling like the coordinate system. That means that we can transform an object in terms of world space or local space. So you'll see if I click here again, the cube becomes a world type of sphere, like a world mode type of icon. And then you'll see what the gizmos are doing. They are being transformed. And if I rotate this, so the gizmos are like that, you'll see the change a bit more obviously. So if I try to move this and it's on local space, I can actually move that on the object vertical axis instead of the world vertical axis, which would be this one, right? Do you get what I'm saying? Like right now, if the object is kind of fully horizontal and I move this in the local space, the object up is actually horizontal. And so, yeah, that's essentially a very basic thing and something that you need to know how to use, especially for some VFX that might need specific orientations. It's something that, goes unnoticed a lot of times, but it's essential for you to know how to use that one. All right, you can also find the select objects, translate or move, rotate, and scale buttons here, which is pretty easy in case you don't have, the keyboard for some reason. You can also do that by going there. And here, this button maximizes or minimizes this viewport. You'll see that each of those has different properties. This is a top view, this is a right side view, a back view, and all of those have wireframe views. We can set this to be a lit, for example, or lit, and change to your liking, but let's just leave this as a default viewport here. And yeah, those are the most basic controls for you to know on how to navigate the viewport. Some of the other cool ones to know and applicable to VFX would be duplicating an object. So click an object and then press Ctrl D, and the object will be duplicated. You can also use the Alt key and then drag and drop to duplicate an object automatically. So that's pretty neat. Also use the delete key to actually delete objects, which can be also done by pressing the backspace key, the one that you use to, delete the text when you're typing on your keyboard. And besides that, I think I'm not overlooking anything important right now, but I'll let you know if I'm doing so. Another thing that needs to be done pretty, usually would be saving. So you can see untitled, that's the name of the level that I'm currently creating. And you can see like there's a small like asterisk there. That means that the project has not been saved at all. That same asterisk will apply if I create a new material. You'll see the asterisk there, right? So to actually save an asset or a level or anything, you can press Ctrl S. You can also right click and then set this to be saved. You can create a couple different objects. And if I press save on this one, Unreal will only save that one. But let's say I want to save all of those at the same time. What I will do is click on the Save All button or go to File, Save All. Or what I like to do is Ctrl Shift S. And, it should have saved me those assets, but what it's prompting me to do is first save the level. So I'll just save it here. And it just created the level asset and saved all the other assets. Okay, those are just examples right now. These mean nothing. It's just for showing you how everything works. And if you want to create a new level, you can press Ctrl N. The new level window will pop up and you'll be able to select which type of level you want. So let's create a basic one. And you can't see those mountains right now, but you'll see some clouds, you'll see the sun, you'll see some other icons here that represent like fog and sun direction and the player and whatnot. That's pretty cool. All right, so I think that's mostly it for the bare basics on how to use Unreal Engine. You'll be able to create assets later on by right-clicking on the content browser and then navigating through those. You can explore those, and I want you to actually do that. I want you to create a project, and I want you to at least create a couple different folders. Imagine that those assets that you're creating are actually gonna be used on a real project. So yeah, just try to establish like a small project for you, but you don't have to actually create anything yet, just some folders, navigate through the menus, and navigate through the viewport here, then try to apply a material here at the floor, play around, right? That's the main objective for the end of this lesson. That's the homework, to start playing around and toying around Unreal Engine. And now you'll have a quick quiz test that you'll need to pass. So just to understand that you know everything that you have to know before jumping into the next lesson. But yeah, that was quite a long lesson. I'm running out of breath, so I'll take a small pause. But in the meantime, take the quiz and good luck with that.